right. Good Friday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Friday. I am your meteorologist, Jess Peterson, and let's go on and talk about the weather for your Friday evening going into your future. But first, before we get into any of that, you know what time it is. You know what we do on Wednesday evenings and Friday evenings. It is the end of the week. So let's go on right now and give a round of applause because we've made it all the way to the weekend. Absolutely fantastic. We made it all the way to Friday, and now we have our nice 2 day weekend, Saturday and Sunday, to relax. But obviously, the weather's not going to take a break. The weather's always working, doing stuff, so that's why we always have to talk about it. First, before we get into the forecast, if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure that you want to do so. Hit the share button as well. Share it with all the people that you know as we're trying to get to 600 subscribers. We're at 538 right now. We are 12 away from our halfway point of 550, and we are 62 away from our main goal of 600. So let's go on and get there. One more thing, let's go on and talk with the recorded audience for the people who can unfortunately not make it here tonight. Good Friday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, one has had a fantastic Friday. I am your meteorologist, Peterson, and let's go on and talk about the weather for your Friday evening going into your future. Now, looking at the radar right now, you can see on your screen that we do not have much going on throughout the entire state. I mean, you do have some rainfall over here. That's over here, just like Sandy Springs, Anderson, going over here towards Townville and Clemson as well. But it's overall just isolated showers. There's nothing really heavy going on. If we go into the entire U.S., you see we do have some rainfall going on in North Carolina as well as Virginia. West Virginia getting some rainfall as well as Kentucky and Tennessee. Georgia and Florida also receiving some precipitation as well as Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Texas. We have some rainfall up here in Idaho, Nevada, and the Four Corners region, and even Wyoming, Nebraska, and Minnesota also has some rainfall going in the UP of Michigan. Going into our cloud cover, you can see that we do have some heavy cloud cover for like the coastal regions of South Carolina, going up into like the inland low country, the inland Grand Strand region as well, going up all the way towards the Midlands and even the upstate. Obviously we have showers up there, and with those showers up there, we're having the extra cloud cover with it as well. So for now, it's just looking like that we do have some pretty moderate cloud cover. Cloud cover for the future, as we go on and push this forward, you can see that cloud cover pretty much will continue to kind of stay a bit stagnant in some of these same areas. Low country, upstate, Midlands, PD, all these regions. And then once you get to tomorrow morning, this is when I start my morning forecast update at 7 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. It starts to clear up. Midlands are clearing up. Upstate's kind of clearing, but there's still cloud cover up there, but it's kind of clearing. PD is still pretty cloudy, and that cloud cover will traverse back into the low country by the time we get to like tomorrow afternoon and evening. So for the most part, it's looking like that we will have kind of just like a mix. It really just determines where you are, because that will determine really how much cloud cover you will get. So, but on a main South Carolina scale, it's mainly just half sun, half clouds for most. Current temperature right now is 83 in Columbia as well as 80 in Orangeburg, 81 in Summerville as well as 82 in Georgetown, 83 in Merlina as well as 82 in Conway, 83 in North Myrtle Beach as well as 81 in Greenville, 83 also in Spartanburg as well as 84 up there in Gaffney, also 83 down there near Charleston, and 83 in Aiken as well. As you go into our low temperatures tonight, 75 in Greenville as well as 75 in Spartanburg, 75 in Rock Hill as well as 76 in Columbia, 76 in Aiken as well as 75 in Barnwell, 75 in Walterboro as well as 75 in Moncks Corner, 79 in Hilton Head Island and Charleston, 76 in Georgetown as well as 78 in Myrtle Beach. In terms of precipitation for tonight, you can see around a good 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch, maybe for like Greenwood and some other areas as well, but for the majority of us, 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch is possible for places like Greenville, going into Dillon, and maybe even Myrtle Beach as well could potentially receive a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch from 8 p.m. tonight, going all the way into 8 p.m. tomorrow night. So that's pretty much what's going on in terms of our accumulated rainfall. In terms of the SPC outlook, we do have a little bit of an update. I mean, it's not much. This is what it looked like around a couple of minutes ago, but they just updated it, obviously, just a couple of minutes ago. It didn't really change much. The only thing that changed is kind of like something's going on with the website right now. I'll see if I can refresh it real quick. Yeah, I think that website, for some reason, might be down right now. So I'll check back in with that and see what happens. But for now, it pretty much just shows that thunderstorm risk is pretty much gone for most of the low country going into the the Georgetown County regions as well. It may be even going over towards, for example, down there towards like Beaufort, Hilton Head Island as well. Those regions no longer inside the thunderstorm risk, but everyone else still has that thunderstorm risk. Tomorrow, Saturday, July the 19th, everyone again has another chance for some thunderstorm by the time we get into tomorrow. And Sunday, it's the same thing. We're having some more thunderstorm activity on Sunday. In terms of excessive rainfall right now, you see as we go on and push this forward all the way over here into tonight, going into tomorrow, marginal risk of excessive rainfall is here for Florence, going into Sumter, going into Summerville, Charleston, the Tri-County region. Conway and Myrtle Beach is also included in there as well. And even up here inside the upstate, this little sliver up here has a minor risk of flooding as well, where some isolated flash flooding is in the question. Now tomorrow, 9 a.m. going into Sunday at 9 a.m., isolated flash flooding up here for like Walhalla, going into Pickens, Travelers Rest, Boiling Springs, Spartanburg, Clover. I'm going on over here to Cheraw, I believe. Yeah, Cheraw right there. Day 3, this goes into Sunday morning, going into Monday morning. Just a little sliver. Nothing much really going on there, just a little bit of a sliver. Going into day 4, this is the day that we really are watching for, day 4 and day 5. So that's Tuesday going all the way into Wednesday, where we have the chance for some isolated flash flooding for the entire state of South Carolina. So that's what we are mainly watching for in terms of excessive rainfall, and that's kind of what's next on the agenda for any sort of like widespread hazardous, potentially dangerous conditions. Obviously, the heat is one thing, but that's already there, already happening. The next thing, definitely, that is this flooding. So now that that's out the way, let's go ahead and look at the models. So the time is in the top right corner of your screen. Make sure you go ahead and pay attention to that. I'm starting off here 9 p.m. You can see, obviously, the models thought that there was going to be a little bit more convection, but you can see here that obviously didn't really show up too much from what you can see here on the actual map right here. But going back to the models though, continuing this forward even more, you can see even by 12 a.m. it still had convection inside the state of South Carolina. At this point, I mean, this is 4 hours out at this point, so this might still happen. But I think that honestly there probably will be less convection than this. And then by the time it got to around 2 to 3 a.m., that's when you start to see a lot of that shower activity start to dissipate a lot more. And then once you get to around 8 to 9 a.m. tomorrow, still looking a lot dry, going all the way to 12 to 1 p.m. as well, going in on July the 19th. Going even further into the future, you can see here that, again, even by 4 p.m., it's not really showing a whole bunch on the models until you get to around 5 to 6 p.m. Showers start to move their way through like the PD region, going into the Grand Strand, and then even the upstate as well. Low country getting in on some, maybe once you get later into the evening on July the 19th tomorrow. But once you get to 12 o'clock in the morning, midnight on July the 20th, this is Sunday, still looking at the potential for some downpours throughout the state. And then Sunday morning actually looks relatively dry, all the way pretty much throughout most of the morning time. So Sunday morning going into around 1 to 2 p.m., it looks relatively dry to start off for Sunday. Going into our GFS model, this is pretty much what we are looking for the long-term future, 300 to 400 hours or so. As we push this forward, you can see that this active weather will continue. We've been talking about this active weather for a little bit now, and it's a little low pressure right there that might come through around like July 21st, 22nd as well. And it pushes its way down towards Florida and then kind of just sits in the Gulf and just sits down there and kind of just becomes just a huge plume of moisture. Now, they might issue an area of concern there or an area of interest, but for right now, obviously, there's nothing there. If you continue to push this forward, though, look just at South Carolina, though. This rainfall just continues to trickle throughout the state. And then once we get to around July 31st, we really can't say anything else further than that. So for the exact days in August that you're looking for, I can't really say too much on it just because it's over 300 hours out. So we're going to go on and stop there. In terms of the tropics, there actually is an area of interest right now that they're watching, but it's out here, nowhere near where I was just talking about. You can see right here, it's right here just to the north of South America, or at least to the north and east. A tropical wave interacting with a broad area of low pressure is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms more than 800 miles southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. Environmental conditions could become marginally conducive for some gradual development late this weekend through early next week as the system moves west to west-northwest around 10 miles per hour. By the middle of next week, environmental conditions are forecast to become unfavorable for further development. So, pretty much, if it does not try to do something before next week, by the middle part of next week, then it most likely will not form. As it says, environmental conditions will no longer be conducive for development by the time you get to the middle part of next week. So, most likely nothing that we have to worry about here in South Carolina, but something just to look at, just to see what happens. But it has a 0% chance of forming during the next 48 hours and a 20% chance of forming during the next 7 days. Looking at the crazy score, we're at a 50. We are at a 50 for the crazy score for tonight, and you might be wondering why are we at a 50? Obviously, it's going to be an oppressively warm night tonight. I mean, you're going to have warm highs or, oh my goodness, lows inside of the upper 70s going into the low 80s as well, especially near those coastal regions as well. So even though, obviously there are low temperatures and, most people might be inside sleeping at that time, it's still going to be very warm tonight. I mean, in the 80s for especially those people near the coastal region. Those evening storms or evening showers are fading. No severe threat, obviously. Fog potential is localized, mostly in the mountain valleys, though, and then humidity also remains high. So this pretty much will be a typical muggy summer night. Uncomfortable, but not active. So that's why we're in that moderate category. And so that's it in terms of the crazy score. Let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. We have, first off, Miss Grace who says, hello JP, hope your day went well. We have some strong thunderstorms here today early. Thank you so much for that weather report for earlier. Wish it would rain for a whole day. Unfortunately, if it rained for a whole day, we probably would be talking about some flooding issues. So probably don't want it to rain for the whole day, unless it was like very, very, very light rainfall. But if it rained for the whole day, that would definitely cause some problems though. So my Nana says, hi Jay, the rain cooled it down a lot over here. That is true. It was around like 90 something. I think I have a screenshot on my phone. It felt like 112 degrees at my house today when it was at its peak. But then a thunderstorm moved through, and then that cooled it right down to like 76. So overall, that shower that moved through definitely calmed it down a lot. Trail says, greetings everyone, the heat is awful. Make sure that you go in and answer the poll, by the way. It's up there if you want to vote in, if you're inside the live chat. The heat for me, I was outside this morning around like a good 2-3 hours as well. 2-3 hours just doing stuff with the grass, cutting it. So overall in the morning time, it was still pretty warm out there in the morning, but definitely would not do that during the middle of the day. And that's it for our audience tonight. We have a pretty short list tonight, but now that that's out the way, we'll come back. If you want to leave a chat, you can, and we will come back and read it. Starting off, let's talk about the 3 locations that we talk about, or our locations that we talk about outside of South Carolina. And we're going to start off with San Antonio first. San Antonio tonight, low temperatures tonight 77, high temperatures tomorrow at 98, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 77. There is no precipitation expected tonight, nor is there any precipitation expected tomorrow either. And in terms of excessive rainfall, there is no threat for any sort of excessive rainfall during the next 5 days. And in terms of severe weather, there's none either, and that's mainly because there is just no precipitation that's really expected for Texas as you move through the next 7 days or so. So you're not really going to be seeing a whole bunch. Raleigh's the next one. Low temperatures tonight 75, high temperatures tomorrow at 94, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 75. There is a chance of thunderstorms that goes all the way through tonight, through tomorrow, and tomorrow night as well. Severe weather, you do have the chance for that on Sunday. A low chance for some severe storms again on Sunday. And then in terms of excessive rainfall, you do in fact, let me go ahead and push this over here. You do in fact have that slight risk or that scattered risk for excessive rainfall for tonight going into tomorrow. And then same thing for Saturday as well. And then Monday and Tuesday, you also have that minor risk of flooding there as well. And then the final location being Philadelphia. Low temperatures tonight 72, or hold on, wait, let me catch myself. Almost the final location. Philadelphia, low temperatures tonight 72, high temperatures tomorrow at 84, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 72. No precipitation expected tonight, and a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow and tomorrow night as well. There is the chance for some minor flooding tomorrow for Saturday going into Sunday, and then that's pretty much the only minor flooding threat that you have. And then in terms of severe weather, you do have a low risk for some severe weather on Sunday. Again, same thing like Raleigh. On Sunday, low chance for some severe weather is possible there. Now, I tried to hide it. I don't think I really did that good of a job. But if you were on the stream last night, you know that we had a new location that was asked to be presented here on the 3 locations outside of South Carolina, and that was Duncan, Oklahoma, and that was asked by Mr. Chris, and the location is added. Let's go ahead and give a round of applause for that. The location is here. It is now added. And let's go on now and talk about our 4th location that will now be included at the end once we talk about the other 3 locations as well. So starting off, low temperatures tonight at 72, and then high temperatures tomorrow at 99, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 75. And there is indeed just no precipitation that is expected there at all, pretty much throughout like the next 7 days. So there is just no severe weather that is really just to be expected. No excessive rainfall is expected. I mean, just as you move through. Just because, there's just not really any precipitation that's going to be present during like the next 7 days. And I can even check. Yeah, I don't see anything at all. So, just not really too much precipitation that's expected over here. And that is the final location. Try to be secretive, and I don't think it really worked that well. What's going on throughout the entire U.S.? Strong to severe thunderstorms and heavy rain will impact portions of the Central Plains into the upper Midwest and the Mid-Atlantic through the weekend. A stretch of unusually hot and humid weather is expected across portions of the central U.S. and the southeast beginning this weekend and continuing through next week. The heat may reach dangerous levels, particularly mid to late next week. So again, we might not even be done with this heat. I mean, you think the heat's bad now, this heat will continue. So make sure again that you are, keeping that in mind as we go through. Not only is it going to be down here, but also in Kansas, Missouri, Illinois is going to be receiving it as well. So just a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff going on. In terms of any sort of dangerous flooding, there is the potential for some tonight going into tomorrow. That goes through places like Virginia, like Richmond, Virginia, Petersburg, Virginia, going all the way up into Harrisonburg, Virginia, where there is a moderate risk of some flash flooding. Again, that's flooding likely inside that 40% risk. And, some dangerous flash flooding is potentially possible as you go through there. But other than that, that's really like the only dangerous part. Before we go on and end this tonight, obviously I kind of talked about it a little bit last night, but obviously with our location that we now add at the end after South Carolina, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with this. I mean, obviously for right now at the end it works, but I kind of just touched on it and said that, it might get to a point to where it might be like 10, 15 locations. I don't want to put all that at the end of a forecast, so I'm working on trying to get another solution done. But for right now, 4 locations, that's fine. I don't think that's relatively too long. So for right now, I'm just going to keep that as is. But it is going to be somehow put in it kind of like its own forecast away just from the South Carolina one. But I'll work on that. But that's just for any sort of future locations that might come into the future, so we can actually have as many as we need to. But that's it again for tonight. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you go and do so. Hit the share button as well. Share it with all of the people that you know. We're trying to get to 600 subscribers. We're at 538. That is 12 away from the halfway point, and we are 62 away from 600. That's obviously the main goal for now, 600. So let's go on and get there. Please, 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 if you have not hit the subscribe button, make sure that you go and do so. And like I said, please, please, please share it with all the people that you know. The poll, by the way, 67% says very hot, 17% says hot, and 17% apparently says that the heat today was nothing and that they can deal with that every single day. So we do have people like that inside of South Carolina, which is very good to know. But that's it there. I will be back tomorrow morning with your Saturday morning forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Friday evening.